Greetings, fellow ukuleleans. Jeff Weinberger coming at you with a new tutorial. I'd like to introduce a duet from my new book. It's called 10 Ukulele Duets for Newer Players, and this was duet number 1. It's entitled Poppy. I called each of the 10 duets after some of my favorite flowers that I like to grow in the garden. So that was the duet at a normal speed. I listed it as 130 beats per minute. I did not use a metronome just then. I don't know if it was exactly 130 beats a minute. I just did what felt right, but ultimately 130 would be like a ideal tempo. That would be where you're going for. If you play these slowly and start at 80 beats a minute, 90 beats a minute, that's fine. Do them as slow as you need to. All right, so I'd like to explain a little more about the book. And I wrote this book for newer players, for people who are either young people or older people just getting into ukulele. I tried to make the chord parts for ukulele too be fairly simple chords. I did the full chords, but you can certainly do easier, more partial chords that I show in my book. I give you very easy versions of these chords, sometimes using as few as 1 or 2 fingers, and not always using all 4 strings. The strumming is not hard, as you could see. It was in 3/4 time, and it pretty much involved dotted half notes and quarter notes and nothing too fancy. Ukulele 1 is always the melody, and I made these melodies very simple, very sparse, not a lot of hot licks in them, just real nice singable melodies. Nothing too fast, nothing too high on the neck. The highest note in this particular one, in duet 1, is at the 5th fret, so you don't have to go higher than that. This particular one is in the key of A, so it's based on an A major scale. And I'd like to play for you a little bit of the melody, just real slow, then we'll talk about it. So those are just notes right out of an A major scale. The A major scale. Notice how it doesn't climb up the neck. It stays right in this easy part of the neck, the first few frets. If you play it very slowly, you get pretty good results without having to have a whole lot of technique or too much confidence yet on the ukulele. If you're a beginner or close to a beginner, you can easily play this. You just have to take your time, do them slow. So you see that? It just involves a couple of fingers. And it's not a fast flurry of notes. It's pretty sparse. You'd go even slower. That would work. So you can handle that. I'm sure you can. You have to be able to read tablature to enjoy this book, or read standard music notation. I have both. I have notation at the top, and I have tablature at the bottom, as I usually do with the stuff that I write for ukulele. So don't worry, if you don't read music, you can do this. If you hate tablature, you can also do this because you have the musical notation. So melody-wise, it's pretty easy. That was the first bit. Then I have the B part that I have it at the same dynamic marking, but it gets a little more serious. It goes. Notice that it creeps up to the 5th fret. So I have 2nd, 4th, and then eventually it goes to the 5th. I use my pinky for that. I like to use my pinky because that gives me a nice scale fingering that goes like this. So it makes sense to use the pinky on that 5th fret note. Don't hop around with one finger if you can help it. Use the proper 1 finger per fret rule, which dictates that you use 1 finger for every fret. As far as right hand goes on these melodies, I use my thumb to articulate most of it. You might have seen me sneak in my index and middle once in a while. I don't really think about it much, but yeah, every once in a while I might not use my thumb. I might go. There I use my thumb and my index. You could use entirely your thumb and get great results. Don't be afraid to mute your strings. If you have notes that are ringing over and you want to stop them, don't be afraid to quiet your ukulele down so you don't get extra over ring. If you're not too worried about that right now, just play it as is and don't really fret about extra strings ringing. Just play it as best you can. But more advanced players will want to use a little bit of right and left hand muting to make this melody as clean as possible. Finally, I have a section where it does get a little bit louder. I want you to, you see the dynamic marking forte, which F, that means to get loud. So you're going kind of medium loud here, but then I wanted those last two notes to really pop out, and I do that at the end of the piece too.